Hey guys, welcome to today's interview. So I have my good friend here, Patrice Chestnuts, who is a pretty busy person to track down and a pretty busy person to get scheduled for this interview here. I know we've been trying to coordinate, well, really, I've been trying to coordinate this interview for like a couple of weeks now. And I know because of Patrice, she has quite a bit going on. It was pretty difficult to nail it down, but I'm so happy that I finally didn't like, get a chance to just have her share her story because I believe she has such an amazing story and what she's done. Just the path and who she's helping is just amazing, and you've got to check what she's up to out. So that being said, welcome, Patrice. Patrice.
Thank you for having me, Estes, and thank you for your patience in us getting this scheduled. I
Awesome.
really appreciate it. I'm excited.
Awesome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Whenever it comes to interviews, I typically don't really have to chase after someone or don't spend that much time. If someone can't make it, I just say, okay, we'll try to figure out in the future. But I knew for you, I just had to keep on it until I got you to the show here. So again, thank you so much, Patrice. And with that being said, let's jump back in because I believe you have an amazing story. So guys, if you're not sure who Patrice is, again, what she does right now today is she helps graphic designers grow the businesses, grow the brand, get high ticket clients, and not just any type of high ticket clients, but she helps them get those retainer clients, which I know that most of us in business, that's really what we want, those higher paying retainer clients. And I've heard a lot of people talk about being able to get those clients and ultimately um, do whatever. But I know Vatri, she is one of the best. She is the foremost experts in that field, and that's really why I wanted to have her on here today and just have her share her story. So Patrice, if I haven't said enough about you yet, I know you've been in the whole graphic design field for over 20 something years, about 23 years, right?
Yes, that's correct. I've been in
Yeah.
there 23 years. It has spanned across different industries, nonprofit, the corporate sector, inclusive of publishing and printing.
Hmm. Okay, good, good. Now I know you really specialize in right now just helping other graphic designers again grow the brand, get consistent high ticket clients on those retainer packages and stuff like that. I know you're pretty good at it, but I want to know the backstory. I want to know, how did this get started? Like, what was your backstory before you got started helping other graphic designers?
My backstory is based on the pain that I've gone through all these years of working as a full-time designer with several corporations like USA Today, Southern Living Magazine, and the Chronicle of Higher Education, as well as branching off into working as an entrepreneur for myself. And there's this time span where you're still working full time and you're trying to grow your business part time. So going through that phase and through that process, I learned a lot of things through trial and error and pain, crying, all of that. And so, what that journey brought about was a desire to help other graphic designers miss those pain points or pain areas. I think they were valuable lessons, but some of the practices that I put into place and that I teach my coaching students about is about process and developing clarity in communication to help build their brand and consistently put together a machine that attracts these type of high ticket retainer clients and that also gives them the dream life that they want, which for most of them it's work life balance, it's clients who value the services you bring and don't mind paying for those services. So you dismiss the whole haggling episode that takes place sometimes with other designers. And so my story involved learning how to craft processes for intake, understanding what a strong brand looks like and what attracts certain clients to certain brands. So, putting together that formula has helped me be able to help others to do the same thing.
Hmm. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Now let's talk about the journey, right? Because I know that the individuals you do help, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the individuals you do help, they're graphic designers. Are they still working, still at maybe say a 9 to 5 job type stuff, and you help them transition into doing their business
Yeah.
full time? Is that right?
Most of them are. Some
Hmm.
have taken the leap, so to speak, and they're starting out in their business, and they have sort of a safety net right now of some type of financial safety net to help them as they get along the journey of building this client base. But most of them are still working a full-time job. So they've been inside of corporations and strong brands and have supported them. But now they have to change and pivot their perspective from being a employee to thinking differently as a business owner and understanding how their brand translates into the dream clients they want to attract.
Hmm. Awesome. So you ultimately take them from working for somebody else to just having running their own business, right?
Yeah, so a lot of things, I use the analogy of a hairdresser who doesn't do her own hair.
Hmm.
She could be amazing at putting together different hairstyles for different clients. But when it comes to serving herself, that's where the issue comes in, or seeing it from that, through that lens, to be able to look at what would attract the type of client you want. So I delve into just identifying who that dream client is, the attributes of that client, also things about the business owner themselves, things they need. There are a lot of things that we take for granted that we need. Like for me, I have to work in sunlight. But if I pick a client who wants to burn the midnight oil all the time, am I going to produce my best? No, you know, but those are things that I had to uncover and discover about myself and what makes me operate in the best way to serve my clients. What are those things I need? And where are the clients who are going to allow me to work in that type of environment?
Yeah, yeah, awesome. And that's one thing I love about what you do as well too, because again, you don't just teach it, you ultimately you live it, right? It's your story. And I believe that's so powerful, especially when it comes to helping others. Just like I know for myself, I help coaches, consultants grow, but I know really for me to have gotten here, I had to have number one, gone through the journey myself and figured out all the pitfalls, all the things that I could have avoided. And I think the biggest mistake I made on my own journey is thinking that I could kind of figure this out on my own, right? And I think my biggest insight I had was to kind of figure out, okay, who's number one, sort of in a similar position to where I was at, which I know for you with graphic design, you were a graphic designer. You're not just someone getting in the marketplace saying, hey, let me help graphic. Like you were a graphic designer. You saw all the pain points. You've been through it all, and not only that, but you kind of went on your own, create your own successful business, and now you're helping others do the same as well too. And I believe that's so critical because I believe that life is one of those places where you could either take the what is it, the long way, which is saying, how do I just figure this out on my own? I know for me, I did that a lot, and it took me so long to create any type of success. But the minute I found that, success leaves clues, right? If you really want to succeed, you got to really connect with those individuals who they've been down that path,
Mhm.
they've been down that journey, and really help them connect. So I'm just so happy that you're doing what you do. And again, I guess the next question becomes, right? So are there any common mistakes? Let's say someone is a graphic design. Let's use the example of them still being at that corporate job and they want to maybe quit, or they maybe have a few side clients, but the whole premise is like, how can I get to doing this full time? Do you have any advice for some individual in that specific situation?
I do. I know that there are some common mistakes. Like a lot of times, we're so excited to have our first client or our second client that we're willing to do any and everything for them, even things that aren't healthy for us, um, to just get the sale. And we're not taking a moment to take, say, 24 hours to develop an estimate, or take 24 hours to send them a questionnaire, or have a 15-minute phone call, a discovery call, to understand what is it that this client needs. Because there's a bit of an education that takes place anytime clients come to a person or a graphic designer for services. They don't know what it takes to get the job done. And I used to have this motto that I said, it's not shift F2 people. So it takes a lot more time. And with wisdom and time, you've learned that nothing is as simple as we think it is. You know, with for example, with you and I, Exes, we share a love for cycling. But going to buy a bike is not as simple as just going to buy a bike.
Right.
And so in life, many things are like that. So if we could map out the process better as graphic designers to make sure we have a good foundation by one, having a clear understanding of what it is the client needs, and then educating them on the process so you can manage their expectations. And then giving them upfront what the scope of work is that will involve, the timeline that it will take, and when payment is due. Things like that eliminate a lot of potential problems later on, because I talk about in my coaching program about scope creep. That's when you have a scope of work already outlined, you and the client have agreed upon it, but they keep having these bright ideas and adding little things along the way, but their expectation is not that there's a fee added to that along the way. So being able to shepherd that and rein that in to stop it before it balloons, those are some of the things I teach as well. And the way you tackle that is through the communication process and through materials that you give them to outline how this is going to go. Because most times you got to tell a person something 3 times before they actually hear you. So repeating these things throughout the process helps eliminate a lot of those common mistakes and heartaches. Because I don't think there's any designer that would admit that 50% of the time a project may balloon into what was supposed to be 1 week turns into 4 weeks, or what should have been 3 versions or 3 rounds of revisions turns into 15. Under my leadership and direction in corporate world, if it was more than 3 versions of a design, someone didn't do enough talking at the beginning of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it's more than 3 versions of something, yeah, there are many opportunities for improvement there. So those are the types of things that I coach people on and help graphic designers understand that this is how you attract those high ticket clients, because they really want to be led in the process. And when you have those things down and the brand has a unified message that's saying the same thing over and over, they understand this is what's going to happen, and I'm clear about that. So, for instance, no one thinks that they're going to walk into an Apple store and get what they want as far as service on some type of hardware right there on the point. No, nobody thinks that. If you've ever been in an Apple store, you know I need to make an appointment.
Right.
That's brand messaging and conditioning, so you can receive this high level of service and you can receive this one-on-one attention that you need. But Apple knows we have to manage the expectations of our customers so that we can deliver what it is they need. So this is a part of the branding process.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, awesome. So what about the vision that you have for your clients? Just like I know for me, right? So in my own business, that vision I have, and I think you have something similar as well too, because I know that when an individual comes to work with us, there's always a bigger picture vision. Just like for me, I know in my own business, that core vision I have is that because I help coaches and consultants, and I know that my vision for them is because I really truly believe that coaches and consultants, they are the ones who are really going to go out and change the world. When I see what's happening in the news and in the media, all these different places, and see all of the negativity out there, and when I talk to a coach or consultant, I see the passion they have for wanting to improve not just their lives, but the lives of other people. I'm like, wow, like someone really dedicates their life to wanting to help others get better. And for me, I love seeing that because I know that helping other people is the way we get forward. And I really believe that that's the future of where we get to. So that's really what my vision is, to just basically, I know, give coaches, consultants the tools they need to get to wherever they need to get to. And what about for you, that vision that you have? What's that vision that you hold for your ideal clients?
Well, for my ideal clients, my vision is that I think it's two part. One, that they understand their value because when you provide intangible services, it's almost like a tug of war getting people to understand the value you provide. Many of them are great at what they do, and they need to understand that you are an expert in your field. And so my vision is for them to be able to stand with their head held high and be able to communicate that without, being um, overconfident, but to communicate that in a way where a potential client knows I'm with an expert and I value them. That should be something they perceive right away. And the second thing is to be paid what you're worth. I I have a vision for the day where graphic designers don't have to haggle or settle for less than what their services are worth. Um, and I know that many of them have a passion for doing excellent work and for making their customers happy. And if they didn't, they wouldn't be doing these counterproductive things for themselves, like working long hours and missing out on kids' ball games and other things, or just to make ends meet. So it's a two-part vision. One, you understand your worth and you're able to project that. And two, you get paid what you're worth.
Yeah, good stuff. And I guess one of the things I really admire and really love about you as well too is the fact that, again, you're one of those people who you genuinely care about your clients and the people you work with. It's ultimately like when you take them on, they become a part of your family, and that's
Yeah.
something that I think is so important, because at the end of the day, I've been doing this long enough to realize that, especially when you want help, right? So there's people when you go out there and say, well, I need some help, and you work with this person, you try this thing, and next thing you know, the support you need, the feedback, the stuff you need to really help you get the results, it's not really there. I know there's so many people out there who they have a bad taste in their mouth of maybe they've tried to get some help with something and they just don't know who to trust. And one of the core
Mhm.
reasons I love what you do, and even with your community you have going on here right now, is because you generally have built this as a place to, again, really support those individuals and really do whatever it takes to help them get the results. So I'm really happy again to be interviewing you, to have you share that message. But I want to know something about you, which is, because I know you've created quite a bit of success for yourself. So I would say, what's one trait, what's one thing you've really practiced that's really helped you get to your level of success today?
Saying what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
being being direct without being rude, but really saying what I mean, because I found that I've saved a lot of time by really saying what's on my heart and saying what needs to be said for a person to really catapult into their next level. And I've appreciated that from mentors that I've had who have been able to say to me directly, okay, this is what you need to do. If you say this is what you want, this is what you need to do. And I've valued that, because just like you said, there are a lot of people that you can't trust, or people have been burned. And I will take truth over anything else any day, because I feel like that's going to get me and others farther in our journey than if we experience something counter that. So just saying what I mean and meaning what I say, that has been the key to my success.
Yeah, good stuff. And I know, like, how do you handle the success? Because I know that as we go through life, right, and even growing a business, there's always a level of success we create, but it also comes at a price, which is saying, well, how do you sustain this? How do you keep going? What's your motivation? So for you, what is that motivation? What's that thing that keeps you going?
I really feel like I was born with just this will to excel and constantly create the next thing. I staying stagnant, or doing something that is repetitive gets boring to me. And so to deal with that, my wheels are always turning and I'm always thinking of something that I can do next. And I've had a friend to say, we were riding in the car down the street, and he said, I can't stand riding with you through a neighborhood because by the time we make it through 3 traffic lights, you've created 15 businesses. And he's like, can you just ride in the car? And I was like, it's not my fault. I was given a visionary mindset, but I can look at things and say, oh, they need to put a so-and-so over there, or it would be great if this were there. And he was like, can you just ride in the car?
Love it. That's some good stuff. Good stuff. Awesome. So, and I know, again, I know we're running short on time here, and I know you're pretty busy. So I guess the best question, the next really good question is, in terms of if someone wants to reach out and connect with you, what's the best way for them to do so?
They can do so by visiting my landing page. They can do so by sending me an email. I'd be happy to get back with them. I'll just be honest, I'm quicker with email because I'm all over the place. Like you said, my schedule is so busy, but also through my Facebook group. So the Facebook group is called the Graphic Designers Hub, and I invite everyone to join that. And I go in there every day and I'm interacting with the individuals every day. I make it a point to set aside time for that. So the other way is through my email, which is vatrice@affinitymediaconsulting.com. And that's a mouthful. So that's why you need to go to the Facebook group. But in there, I can share my email and give back to anyone who's a graphic designer that's looking for help, insight, and I just like hearing the challenges that graphic designers are facing, giving feedback and support and help in ways that they could probably overcome those challenges, and just us building that community and growing together. Because like you said in the beginning, there are not a lot of people who are out here specifically helping graphic designers to excel and grow their business. So I consider the Facebook group a gold mine.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. And guys, if you're watching the interview, I would highly recommend, if you're a graphic designer, definitely reach out to Patrice. My philosophy is you got to surround yourself with superstars. Find the best of the best people. Think about the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, all these great athletes. They're surrounded by really awesome people, and that's really what makes them great. So I believe that if you're a graphic designer or any type of creative entrepreneur, you got to connect. If you're having any type of issues, whether it's getting your business started, whether it's getting paying clients, whether it's really just growing, leaving your job, wherever you're on your journey, I highly recommend connecting with Patrice, because 9 times out of 10, she's already been where you are. She has been through most of the challenges that you may be currently going through right now, and not just that, she's worked through them herself as well too. So again, if you have any issues or any questions, I would highly recommend reaching out and connecting. Patrice, I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to interview you here today for the audience and to really get them to know a bit about you and what you do and your value. Do you have any final thoughts before we end?
I thank you so much because this has been a joy. It brightened my day to have this interview with you, and I thank you so much. And if there's anything I can do for you, let me know.
Awesome, Patrice. Well, hey, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Okay.
Awesome.